up first. From tournament lobbies to Web3 war rooms, he's the undisputed controller king turned clutch consultant, running point for GCS with the same intensity he once brought to every 1v4. He's the tactician you call whenever your launch needs a little more lethal, whether it's Web3 or Web2 or just Web chaos. He turns marketing plans into map controls, the king of controllers, the concierge of campaigns. This Dub.
Yo, actually, Sinjin's capping everyone. It's not even 4 a.m. It's 3 a.m. This whole fucking time. He's been like gloating in extra hours, so I'm gonna take that right back from him. But it is still fucking demon hours. I'm making some real bad trades. InfoFi is real down. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, but we'll get out of Bangkok eventually.
Okay, in the Wolves and Friends chat today, we were joking about how Dub was definitely buying the floor on Laudio. And then Dub comes in and is like, yeah, no, I'm actually buying the floor on Laudio. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, somebody put this guy to bed. I'm sorry for what this show is doing to your wallet. Up next, whether he's breaking down a subnet stack or repping out a squat rack, he's the beast mode business dev and the iron slinging innovator over at Avalanche. A keynote presence with the brand, or excuse me, with the power of a tier 5 tank. He's the biceps with bandwidth incarnate. He's the barbell swinging block building Avalanche ace you've been waiting for, and he's Will Spangler.
Yo, good to know that I'm not the only one making shit trades at the moment. I tried to dive into meme coins again in my ritual annual attempt of staring at charts for a week, making one bid, losing it all, and then never touching it again. So I'll see you guys same time next year.
I've never related with a statement more on this show ever. Will's spirit animal stuff right there. Big shout out to 15 comments already early in the show. Appreciate all you guys. Give us a retweet. Keep dropping comments. Hope you guys will participate in some of the game modes we have coming up. It's going to be a really fun show today. Up next, he's the patron saint of spicy takes. The Hercules, the hot mic moments. Once mocked as the golden fraud, but now worshipped as the golden god. He turns roast into reverence and myths into momentum. He's the comeback king of the Coliseum, turning every L into lore. All hail the glowing golden god, Jerry Singer.
Hey, what's up? You guys remember Kurt Angle? Dude, I was just watching Kurt Angle
Kurt.
montage videos today. What a fucking guy. Yeah, I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be watching WWE. Sam, I just got new golf clubs, so I need to go put a net up in your backyard and hit foam balls if I can. My yard's not big enough.
Let's get it, dude. I'm in. We could also just go to a driving range or Top Golf or any of the many places that are designed for this. But yeah, if we don't fuck up my yard, I'm in, dude. No questions asked. Let's do it. Next, a legal mastermind with a flair for Final Fantasy. He's fusing anime aesthetics with airtight contracts to build a platform where characters and creators win. He doesn't object. He doesn't settle. He crits for clarity and cross-examines like a cutscene. It's the walking audit trail with boss music in the background. It's Michael Christine from Andromeda.
Hey, what up, everybody? Hype for another episode of Gamified. Jerry calling his shots with the MVP early. That's immediate no for MVP Jerry today. So just want to throw that out there.
No, I've been inspired by Kurt Angle. Intensity, integrity, and intelligence, baby. We're bringing all three.
What a weird thing to just be watching randomly on a Wednesday afternoon. Kurt Angle? Are you kidding me? Up next, before most of us were optimizing KPIs, he was optimizing gaming galaxies. He launched Space Empire Elite in the 90s, turned Game of Thrones Ascent into a Facebook-era juggernaut, and scaled legendary Game of Heroes into a top-grossing hit. Now with Beamable, he's building the back end so you don't have to. It's the system slayer, the lower layer, the launch liberator. It's John Radoff.
Oh my God, you said Space Empire. I haven't heard that in a while. But the funny thing with Space Empire, first of all, I coded that game when I was 14. But every like couple of years still, someone reaches out to me and they're like, "Hey, do you have the source code for Space Empire? I want to like port that to something." And unfortunately, the code is on an Amiga hard drive that I tried to get someone to recover, and they could not recover it. So I think the source code's lost forever. But hey, Sam, glad to
Damn.
be here.
Hey, but the home runs I hit when I was 14 are also lost forever. So,
And just like that Amiga hard drive, still the glory days lost in the ether. I'll never forget being at Art Basel with Dub and telling him about my favorite game as a kid, which was Magic the Gathering. It was an open world kind of roguelike Magic the Gathering game where you could walk around. You would run into people, you would be able to beat them and then take their cards and build your deck even more. And I was like, dude, I can't find an operating system it runs on. But like I was just disheveled about it. And then Dub in like half an hour had found a way to pirate it and to update it so we could run it on Windows 11. And I was like, this guy's fucking, he's my best friend now. So shout out for people that can support us in all of our gaming atrophy.
I got you.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate that. Up next, in a world full of lukewarm launches and copy-paste campaigns, this man is a walking supernova with a Twitch Prime tattoo and a marketing war chest that once topped $100 million. Now he's a flamethrower for hire. Say that 5 times fast. Behind Wildcard and Thousands, dropping glitter bombs and go-to-market strategy with maximal chaos. You don't hire him to scale. You call him whenever you want to shatter ceilings and melt dashboards. From Glitter Cloud Solutions, it's the incendiary innovator, the god of glitter, and the titan named Tony. It's Tony V.
Let's go, boys! Coming to you from Seattle, not on my headphones from 1998, and I am super psyched to be here. Thanks for having me, boys.
Good to have you back, as always, with that patented energy, Tony. And before this guy was the deck design demigod, he was just another finance fugitive, alt-tabbing between Excel, hell, and barter apps built for the beautifully bizarre. Today, he's the card-slinging cynic who scaled parallel from a side quest to a sci-fi empire, all while keeping a deadpan grin. Call it a midlife patch note for the Prince of Parallel, the unofficial office supplier of Gamified. It's Koji.
He used his disappearing card
It's Koji.
from the new patch.
It's Koji. All right, we'll work our way back.
I can grumble really sarcastically and then talk about Blu-ray DVDs if you want me to.
To his credit, he did unmute, and also he just left the panel, which I assume is, I'm going to blame it on Twitter. Actually, this is a good PSA. Twitter has been in shambles today. It's been in shambles all day.
Now? Yeah, dude, they got the Solana guy. They fucking hired a guy who can't keep a blockchain up to run Twitter.
Shout out to Nikita Beer. Koji, it seems like you're with us now.
Okay. It seems like whenever I leave Wi-Fi is when I start to get problems. Anyway, yeah, you say cynic, Sam. I just say honest. So, take that with a grain of salt. And I agree with St. John, by the way. You have to be a masochist if you want to release a game in this space, or try and avoid releasing a game in this space while also releasing a game in this space.
Shout out to nihilism, by the way. Up next, he's the dirty martini in a room full of milk drinkers. A one-man Yakuza side quest. He's the ghost of corporate machines, the anti-hero of every VC group chat, and now he's the father of a very, very animated and angry Yakuza girlfriend. It's the Titan of Taboo, live from Bangkok. It's Senjin.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's get this shit going.
What just happened, dude?
That was
dude.
bizarre.
I swear he farted.
Up next, he's the voice in your head during the raise, the ghost in your group chat after the launch, and the guy who gives you advice that you hate right up until it saves your project. It's the founder of Frankie Go, a Web3 game on an abstract chain. The founder, the funder, the frenemy. It's real Jonah Blake.
I am your worst nightmare, only on Wednesdays. I appreciate it. Yeah, Frankie Go and now Sploot AI will have a demo ready for the public probably early next week.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Congrats on all the progress over there. Excited to see even more. Jonah dropped a great video about a week ago showing some highlights of what that product is going to be able to accomplish. So good luck, have fun. And
I tried to build a Web 2 product in Web 3. I'm tired.
Yeah, Sinjin was just going through this exact same midlife crisis. So congrats, you're speed running, balding. Good luck.
I'm almost there. I got a big ass head too. It's pretty unfortunate.
God bless. Last but not least, he's the cold-blooded king of commentary, the gecko with the gift of gab, and the only panelist here who could safely hide inside your shoe. At 2.4 pounds of pure pundit power, he delivers more punch per pixel than any warm-blooded host alive. It's the typhoon of tiny takes. It's my boy Lems.
What is up, everyone? Wills, before you tap out of the meme coin space, I do have this amazing dog coin for you. They've built this AAA play-to-earn metaverse. It's going to be amazing. It's going to change the world.
And that's going to be...
Get ready for round 2, Dub.
Unironically, the first topic of the day that I'm extremely excited to get into. But first, I got to give a big, huge, massive shout out to Avalanche, which is more than just a chain. It's where snowballs progress into real rewards. With Season 1 of their Battle Pass, every play earns progress toward legendary NFT drops and AVAX bonuses. No fluff, no filler, just a sleek system built for momentum. This is your Frost Forged ecosystem where tokens fuel climbs, friends become factions, and innovation elevates every interaction. Shout out to Avalanche, the king of the north and the official chain of gamified. And Farcade just hit the respawn button. Say hello to Remix, the official game of gamified. Drop the coding bootcamp fantasies. Our AI studio lets you whip up a game faster than you can microwave a burrito. Think of us as a love child between AI and internet chaos. You bring the idea, we bring the tools. Once it's fun, we'll make your game available on Warpcast, Telegram, and World app for millions to play. Play, build, remix. Shout out to the official game, Gamified. And dump the castles in the cloud because Game 7 is building kingdoms on chain. They're backing builders and leveling up devs with their credits program, plus bestowing soulbound loot on the loyal with Summon. The Fellowship is forming the final bosses, traditional gaming gatekeepers. Join the fray where your grind gains gravity with Game 7, the official infra of Gamified. And of course, I've been saying this a lot lately. We're trying our best to grow as a podcast as well as a live show. So if you guys are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts, give us 5 stars, share it with a friend. We really, really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. What's the word? Valhalla, a game that's come from Floki, the meme coin, and the comments will tell you a lot about its reception earlier this week. But for what it's worth, Floki currently sitting at a $755 million market cap with the entire supply distributed, fully diluted market cap. Some quotes, just real quick. Hustlepedia said, "We have not improved at all since crypto gaming's inception. This is 2025, and it looks like they're building the common 2022 skinned MMO game. Meh." And then Rare Axes had one of the wildest comments I've seen in a while. He said, "As an on-chain maxi who strongly believes gaming is the vehicle through which the majority of humans will discover Web3, may I politely request that Valhalla team does the following: Control A, delete, power off, unplug from the wall, throw all your computers in the ocean. Thanks in advance." Tough statement. I also quote tweeted the trailer and said, despite this Floki game, Web3 gaming is still inevitable. So what's the word for the meme coin Floki launching a game? And what are the odds that this is a genuine attempt at making a great game versus just money laundering with extra steps, and this is them providing utility, quote unquote? I want to go to Dub, and then I'm going to Jonah Blake.
Yeah, I'm gonna die and get massacred on this hill is what the word is, and I'm fine with that. And full disclosure, we work closely with Jake Lucky. We didn't source him this deal, and me and Tony both dove into the game immediately after seeing the post go out, and that's why I'm gonna die on the hill is because like I think beyond the marketing that we don't desire to see out of games like this and the first time user experience that has too much web3 plus bad like just user flow into the game. Like the first 15 minutes is a bit of a grind to get to the core mechanics of what it could be fun with the game. And that's the whole like, oh, I'm a Viking running around and catching Pokemon and training those Pokemon and battling them in a unique battle mechanic that I haven't seen before. So that's where I'm gonna die on the hill, and like I have hope. I know I'm the guy who just like always loves every game that I come across, but I just see an ability to change all the things that are bad that we don't like today, and I get people wanting to dunk on a post in a trailer like that, and the marketing messaging that went out around it. But at the end of the day, I think they still have legs, and there's something that could be good out of it in the coming months and years.
That was a weirdly low energy, masochistic dub take. Jonah, bring us back from the dead. What are the odds that this isn't just money laundering, and what do you think Floki's going to be able to accomplish here with this MMO?
Yeah, I would be more bullish if it was money laundering. I don't think it is. I think I think you know, just lack of understanding game design, and that's more depressing than money laundering. At least with money laundering, you have a good story. That whole group, they're like, he's a shill. He's a shill. He doesn't like our game. And I was like, dude, this looks like Down syndrome RuneScape. Come on, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. It doesn't. Okay, you showed a Armenian animation that looks like it's from Coco Melon, and then you showed me Down syndrome RuneScape. I'm not gonna be bullish. I'm sorry. I want to be bullish. I really do. Like I don't like. Do you think I like being this person? I don't like being this person.
Yeah.
No, I really don't. It's just no one else wants to be that person, and I'm called to the fucking mantle to tell people to go back to the fucking kitchen and cook something new because I mean, fuck, like this is bad. Like, and also, I like Jake Lucky, but he didn't need the bag that badly. I mean, I don't know what they paid him, but dude, this is like creator branding 101. Like, he's damaging his brand posting this. Like, unless the money was insane, it wasn't worth the post. It really wasn't.
Sinjin, I'm going to you next, bud.
uh the word is a little naive, but you know, I say kind of let them cook. They're coming from the meme coin space, and maybe this will bring. What's good? It shows um, that the Web3 gaming space actually does have a standard now. Because if this had been released like 3 years ago, everybody like, this is not Down syndrome, man. This is genius. Oh my God, this is gonna moon. And then you look at all the comments and like, oh, you guys are like totally fucked. Like, what the fuck is going on here? But I would say, in one way, it's great because it's basically the entire Web3 community dunking on it and gaming, anyways, and that shows a lot of maturity. But on the flip side, I say, if they're going to bring in all these other people into the space to get corrupted, I don't know, is that really a bad thing? But Jin Karen actually did go through the game. He says there's potential, and he's a real gamer, so. I say let him cook. Let's see where it ends up. But I think I'm actually quite hopeful based on the comments in terms of for the life of the industry moving forward.
All right, Jerry, are you?
No. And the word here is payday because I do think Jake got a shit ton of money to post this, right? Because like whatever, man. Like, dude, why don't these guys like call Tony and Dub and figure out like what the fuck to do with like putting a game out? Because yeah, man, like, listen, I'm gonna do something I never do and say that I'm willing to give Dub every point that he just made, right? Like I'm willing to give Dub that this might be a fun game when you get past the Fatui, and it might be transformative and this new thing. But like, do we think that this game that has a terrible onboarding and released like a legitimately awful visual, like a legitimately terrible trailer, do we think people are going to give this enough of a chance to even find that out? Like you don't get to have a really bad onboarding experience and then like retain people. Those just don't work at the same time, right? That's why every game with like a bad Fatui or a non-existent tutorial doesn't really like their retention gets hammered, right? So, um, yeah, man, I just my opinion hasn't really changed since Monday. I too don't want to be the negative guy all the time, but I can't help but be realistic, and I just don't see this game being anything different from what we've seen before a million different times. Because so far it is what we've seen a thousand times before. So yeah, no, this is I have 0% faith. And I hope they do call, people like Tony and Glitter Cloud because I think if the game is actually fun, their marketing is absolute shit so far, and they need to fix that.
Yeah, out of the trailer that we saw, the most insane thing to me was that it's this like very cinematic trailer, and honestly, elements of the cinematic trailer were not terrible. Like the first 30 seconds,
If you like Coco Melon, I agree.
not super strong. Okay, sure. Maybe I'm a Cocomelon fan. I haven't watched it, so I don't know yet. But that shot where like the giant tree monster gets like taken out by giant flame pillars, I was like, that's kind of cool. But then at the end of the trailer, whenever it's just like this tiny laptop in the corner and you see the actual gameplay, it's fucking hideous. Like it looks
You
phenomenally
know they
bad.
tried to hide that shit too. They gave it like the 13-inch MacBook, not even like the 16-inch.
They were like, it's in. There is real gameplay. Like, look, Koji, I'm going to you. Then we're going to John Radoff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sinjin. I think that my word here is growth. It wasn't that long ago that a bunch of amateurs with a few pretty pictures were like, "Dude, just trust me, we're gonna make a great card game," and everyone was like, "Yeah, here's all the money," and we've since moved past that. We have some standards now. It's not just you don't even. It's not even just a good idea that you need or some pretty pictures. You need gameplay, and that gameplay needs to be enticing. And I think that that's like a huge step up, in my opinion. Right? It shows some real growth. Like we were at a point where anyone could win with just capturing the zeitgeist with a bit of excitement, and now people need product. And the people on this panel are like a perfect example. Jonah, most of us probably didn't even know that he was working on stuff until he was like, here, touch it, feel it, look at it. It's a real thing. And so I think that like that means a lot. As far as is Web3 gaming inevitable? We're trending in the right direction, and so yeah, I think the word is growth. As far as like what's the word for this game, I, I don't know, man. MMOs are hard, and I probably wouldn't have chose this genre to be my foray if I was a meme coin to start with. But hindsight and looking in from the outside is a really easy thing to do. So
His word was growth, but growth is just a lisp away from gross.
Just a lisp away. We talk all the time about how MMOs are arguably the hardest game period to make genre-wise, but $755 million market cap. Maybe you just throw a few hundo mil at it, and we'll see what happens. Let's go over.
Okay, you have a hold on real quick. You have $100. You throw it at Floki Inu or Pengu token.
I declined to comment. John Radoff, over to you,
Yeah.
the dad and lawyer.
So I don't know. You look at the Floki X page, which they don't talk about the game in their bio. They say on a mission to become the world's most known and used cryptocurrency. So wow, that's a hell of a lot of chutzpah there. So respect for that. Like our target is bigger than Bitcoin, basically. So like, gotta hand that to them that they have not set their sights low. So I don't know. I guess the game is just one dimension of this mega cryptocurrency to surpass all currencies as we know it that they're creating. So that's kind of cool. But it seems like there's this emerging category of is it a meme coin or is it a game, and how do you fuse that together, and how do you just totally lean into like the degen aspects. I don't know that they've if their mission is to create the biggest cryptocurrency, I don't know that they've really leaned into the degen aspect in this game. The trailer itself, frankly, it's not bad. It's fine. Trailers are a dime a dozen though. Like anybody can throw 10 or 20,000 bucks at a studio animation place in China and they'll make you a really cool
Well,
looking
why
thing for
wouldn't
something
you?
that doesn't exist.
Why wouldn't you? They fucking made this on a yeah, dude. Like, why wouldn't they? They have the fucking money.
Yeah, because they're a meme coin. I don't know. It's an interesting category to think about the fusion of a meme coin in a game, where the game doesn't matter anymore. The veneer of a game, just like a meme coin is the veneer of a cryptocurrency. Like it's a meme game. So
I
we
mean
see
that
the
was the entirety of 2001, though.
we
Anyone
well
who's played Wolf Game or any of the like, no offense to any of that stuff, is just like
Shout out.
veneer of a game with some
I, I'm not
tokenomics.
celebrating it if that isn't clear.
Have you
But
tried
I
Frankie
don't
Go? It
know.
has tons of Ponzi-nomics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is there? I want them to really lean into this. Like, where is the Ponzi-nomics in this, guys? Like, show me the Ponzi aspect to this game. Your trailer is just showing me like a sort of I'd say I mean it's obviously not AAA, it's not quite AA, but it's in there. It's not too bad. But like, tell me how I'm gonna like help my friends recruit them into the meme coin army for this thing. Like that's got to be inherent in the game that plugs into the meme coin. Where's that?
interesting. Oh, sorry, John. Yeah, interesting point that you made there, which is it's almost like it's masquerading as a regular game, which is odd coming from an otherwise boisterous meme coin. Let's go over to the tatted lawyer.
Meme game. I'm minting the category right now.
Well, now that it's got its own category, now it's genre defining, and that's bullish. Tatted, over to you.
Yeah, so my word here is optimistic. And the reason that is optimistic is, do you guys forget Floki Army? Do you remember how ridiculously rabid Floki Army was in the last full cycle? Yeah, all meme coins are down right now, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to get another alt cycle the same way that we did in the beginning of 2024, where all these crazy meme coins were popping off. And do you not think that during alt cycle, games like this are not going to permeate the gambling crowd? Because a lot of the people who gamble in meme coins these days are gamers. Like, it's, it is true. Like, they're not traditional gamers. They're usually Call of Duty players. But if your meme coin is now saying, hey, you can get more of this meme coin by playing, I think it's a wonderful idea because they already have the brand recognition. They already have the name. Their fully diluted value right now is sitting at about 700 million something, much higher than really any other gaming token right now. So they already kind of crossed that hurdle. So I see this as a very, very optimistic and interesting play. I actually think it could turn out really, really well. And it could be one of these, as we're going into, excuse me, as interest rates start to start to get slashed, as more retail starts to come back in the space due to interest rates starting to get slashed and the market starting to pick up again. I could actually see this being an incredibly successful game. The gameplay still definitely looks like it's lacking, but who knows what version of this it is? Maybe they're going to hopefully innovate a little bit more. But I can tell you, they're at Floki, or excuse me, Valhalla sponsors the University of Miami Hurricanes football team, where every time there's like a touchdown or something happens, I don't remember, but every time something happens, they play like the Valhalla thing on the screen, and they've been doing that for like 2 years. And I didn't even realize at first it was a Web3 game when I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it's now connected to such a big name like Floki. I think you have to be optimistic that this could actually go really, really well. I totally understand the examples from back in the day being this or that, but also back in the day, a lot of these meme coins weren't as popular as they are now, or didn't have the brand recognition that they do now. And back in 2021 was more of the exploratory phase for a lot of people getting in the space. And if I remember Floki from 2021, and I just see like, and I see that the markets are going up, and I see that I can play a video game that has Floki in it, and excuse me, it'll allow me to earn more Floki. Why the hell wouldn't I play this game? So I'm going to say optimistic for sure. I think it could set off a really, really solid cycle narrative for on-chain gaming. Do I think it's sustainable and will last forever? No. Do I think it's very cycle specific? Absolutely. But right place, right time. That's a lot of industries these days.
Wow, great stuff from Michael, finding the diamond in the coal mine. I'm going to Spang. Spang, what's the word here for Floki's MMO?
Yeah, my word is confused. Because I feel like everyone's, like, it's clearly a meme coin. This is clearly attached to the meme coin. The goal is to drive value to the coin. That's what they're doing. But I just don't understand how this is supposed to do that, and what the real kind of motivation of the studio. I'm trying to find more information on the studio, on the team, and it's not proving very, very fruitful. But I mean, it seems like they've been in development for 2 years. They've been cranking this out. But yeah, like that, as people were saying with the trailer, it's the word that keeps coming to my mind is why, because it doesn't seem to be striking any particular itch. It seems to be an appeal to Web 2 gamers. They don't have a huge amount of mention of the actual involvement of the coin. Like, all I really am kind of seeing on the website is that it has NFTs and it's powered by Floki. It's all very mushy. Like, it doesn't feel like there are distinct elements and distinct goals here. And I feel like that's what we got from a lot of these kind of 2021 era MMORPGs. Because we've all said 1,000 times, MMORPGs are very, very hard to make. And this seems like a relic from an older age that, placed in front of us once again, causes us to recoil in disgust. And I think that that's what's kind of happening here. Is it's yeah, I mean, Tatted Lawyer was saying right place, right time. The sentiment from me is wrong place, wrong time. It seems like something that has washed up on the shore from a crash ship from long ago.
It's a great way of putting it in. Speaking of the Floki army, whenever Jake posted that video, it was just me and the boys. Like, it was like me, Jonah, and Human, Hustlepedia. Like, I didn't see fucking anybody from the Floki army ganging up to support that trailer. post. Maybe them posting it, but certainly not Jake posting it. And I would argue that it's more important that Jake's post is well received than the original accounts. Tony, going to you then to Lems.
Oh, so much to talk about here, guys. So much to talk about. One, I think Jake's gonna be fine. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about his brand impact from a single tweet. But dude's been around for a little while. I don't know any of the details behind whether there was a deal there or not. But we do work with Jake a lot. We like him. In terms of Floki and Valhalla, I think the word is like delivered, maybe, or like, if I had multiple words, I'd say like commitment delivered. I do think that I'm not going to play the game. I played it for 15 minutes. It was okay. It's a little Pokemon game. But I did a little quick googling here, and I asked ChatGPT, and I mean, it doesn't look like these guys like raised money. Like, they didn't go take a bunch of money from some VC or whatever to make this game. They launched a meme coin, and they funded it through that foundation. And I think it's cool that some, like, I'm gonna say similar to Project O in only this way, not in the quality or the excitement around the gameplay, but in the same way that Project O is like just an NFT project that said they were gonna make a video game like everyone else did, and actually is delivering it. I think that's cool. I think that's hopeful. And I think that, like, if if they end up being if they end up continuing to have a sustainable revenue model, even if that's just through the meme coin revenue, such that they can fund further creative endeavors, and maybe this game, again, probably isn't the one. I think it's hopeful as as an industry, to see a studio being born from a speculative asset, and then having enough juice, if you will, to like make more than one game and to fail, right? Like, I think about Bungie and the games that they made early on. The Myth games are some of my favorite games, but I think they made like $18. And so, I think about like the first run from a bunch of studios, and it's like kind of making the first pancake. So, I'm a little more forgiving than a lot of you guys on this one. I think that if it was, um, like some of the places I've worked before where they went out and raised, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and then made a piece of shit, I'd feel differently. But it feels like this is just like a group of guys trying to make a game. And like, Sam and I are doing a lot with AI gaming right now, and I think like this like less higher fidelity, more quick to market and quick to pick up and play. Again, not that I think that this is a shining example of that. Is going to be the path forward, right? I think that it won't. I think it's not unreasonable to think that like a game like this could be developed in a couple of months, within a year or two's time, and then this whole conversation is dramatically different.
Van Ho in the comments saying, "I love Tony." Yeah, you and me both. I like your comment, Tony. Just a group of guys, setting out to make this game. Yeah, me and the boys just setting out to make a fully on chain Web3 MMO RPG, and shouldn't be that hard. Let's go to Lens and then to Jonah. Then we're ready to move on from this one.
I've been like sitting here trying to decide which word I want to go with, and I'm gonna just kind of break it because it was either 2021 buzzwords or cult, because it really felt like they just slapped as many 2021 buzzwords into this thing, and it's like, I don't know who's dealing with the marketing for this thing and who's did the trailer, because it's like play to earn, metaverse, AAA, whatever, like things they were trying to like slap on and just get as many like things, which all of us are so like allergic to at this point. And we know the Web2 gamers like also hate all that shit. So it's like, who was your target audience that you wanted to deliver that message to? I don't fucking know. And you were saying about the supporters, Sam. There was this one guy, and I was like, I admire how crypto has the ability to create die-hard bag holders who will work for their bags and go endlessly. This guy was like going through everyone who quote tweeted. I saw him on like Jonah's tweet. I saw him on Hustlepedia. I saw him on a few different people's. Like, oh, but this is like, it's so innovative and they're doing this whole new thing and you guys are shitting on it without even playing the game. And like, he baited a couple people, like I think Sinjin said, it was Jinkarin, and I think a couple other people he baited by being like, you're not a real gamer if you won't even like try the game kind of thing. And it's like, man, he got more people probably to get in and try the game than their shitty marketing did, just by bait. But yeah, it's impressive what crypto can create with these cult-like followers. And
Dude,
yeah,
Lems, when you were saying that, all I could think about was this is Illuvium 2.0. That's just everything about this screams that.
Sorry, and
and
I
it's
want to say thank you,
it,
Jerry, for saying that they should be working with us. But I do want to explicitly make it clear that this was not a Clear Clouds marketing production, and we had no participation or awareness of this launch.
good safe play. I'll just say that I have no idea how much like Floki treasury has, but yeah, if they got like a bunch of tokens left, maybe they can keep this whole thing going for quite a while. Maybe they can actually turn it into something if they throw enough money behind it, but it is not looking good right now.
And hey, to be clear too, I've said it before, I'll say it again. As long as you're not a scammer, I'm rooting for you to crush it in Web3 gaming. Okay?
It's like Bomberman.
I don't care what you're building. I want you to fucking crush it and prove that Web3 gaming really is inevitable. So, to be clear, as long as Floki doesn't do anything that's harmful to people, good luck. I hope they fucking crush it. Jonah, you get the last word, then we're moving on.
Yeah, I'll be serious for a second, even though I did call their game Down Syndrome RuneScape, and I will stand by that until I play the game. But so as someone who's made they trashed my game. I thought that was pretty funny. But as someone who's now made a meme coin centered game and has actually built one and has made money on one, there's a line that I believe in. It's called the time investment spectrum. And if you're going to build a meme game, you have to realize that the gameplay is not the game. It's what people say on social media and the title cards and what interactions happening in I call it multiplayer content. So the more time you spend in a game, the less valuable your meme coin will be because the game is actually dilutive to the time investment of the meme coin. That's why when we calculated Frankie Go, the average round per initiation in Frankie Go is about 1 minute and 30 seconds tops. Because the average time you're going to spend on social media talking about it is roughly 4 to 5 minutes. So like it's simple math. Is the longer it takes to get into a game, the worse it's going to be for your meme coin. And so building an MMO for one meme coin is redacted. So like the way we thought about it is reduce time friction by including many meme coins in 1 minute 30-second game and do it that way, because if you build one game for one meme coin, it's an automatic loss even with 1 minute 30 seconds, unless the IP or the game, like the game is really good, which I think it's obvious that Valhalla is probably not really good.
Really cool to hear your logic and the way that you're approaching it with Frankie Go. Appreciate that additional perspective, Jonah. All right, we're going to move on. Crown one or cancel them all. Vo, ICO, and Peyton from the Wolves DAO all had a little quote tweet train where they consecutively managed to sort of disagree with each other. So I'm going to try my best to summarize this. The posts are really too long. I recommend you go read them if you don't want to just catch a summary. But I told all of our panelists today to make sure that they read these tweets so that they could weigh in. But again, here's the summary. Okay, so Vo says we need cooler creators. People who are both entertaining and love what they do, so normies would vibe with them, even if they don't care about crypto. I'm getting my Mog shades as we speak, so hopefully I can live up to Vo's expectations. Up next, ICO quote tweeted that, saying he doesn't agree, and it's a product problem. He references the retail onboarding events like Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mint, and Axie giving people free money during the pandemic, StepN making money from exercising, and this cycle, it's just been meme coins. And the problem with that is it's not interesting because it's rigged. These are roughly his words. He says we need better products, not cooler creators. And then Peyton, our boy from the Wolves DAO, quote tweeted that from ICO Beast, and he said he disagrees with both of them. And it's actually the culture and the systems that we promote. People making money come in the door, but soon walk out whenever it dries up. And the products ICO mentioned have terrible retention as it's not sustainable. He says that it can't be all money. And if we want products that change the world, there has to be some sacrifice. So, out of these three perspectives, you got to crown one as correct or you got to cancel all of them and tell us what you think the problem is. I think Koji had the hand up first. Koji, I'm going to you.
Yeah, Sam, I barely even read your messages, let alone your messages telling me to read tweets, if we're honest. But I read these tweets, though. I read these tweets. And I am 100% in Peyton's camp. Peyton is totally right. Like, yes, we need better creators and we need better onboarding events. There's no question there, but like we need to onboard them. The creators help with the onboarding as well, but we need to onboard them into stuff that people actually care about, like long-term care about, right? And this goes back to what Knock is always complaining about. What I'm always complaining about is like all we do is talk about the same shit over and over again, right? Like we play the same games, and it's because like those are our products that at one point we loved, and we continue to just like chase the dragon, hoping okay, this time it'll be better. Like the Call of Duties of the world or whatever, or even just look at Maple Story, right? It's like people grew up playing this game, they still want to play this game. We need products that ingratiate themselves to the users before we worry about the content creators and the onboarding, because right now there's nothing here that can keep people's attention for long enough. Like we can filter as many people in as we want, but if they don't stay, what's the point? Like we're still in its infancy. If we're on this show talking about that MMO that we were just talking about, like enough news or enough products to really be talking about some shit. So we got to get to a point where things we actually make things that people really care about, and not just because they're holding a bag. And then we can talk about those other points.
Interesting nuance at the end there, Koji. Not necessarily invalidating the other 2 points, but this one has to come first so that the other two can be viable. Let's go over to Tony V, then to Jonah.
Oh man, I just took a bite. Sorry. So I misunderstood the summary. Was Peyton was the one that said we need better products for people to engage with?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, I thought that was ICO Beast.
Well,
He said better products. Peyton was
Okay,
culture,
well,
and Vo
ICO,
was the other one.
ICO said I agree with ICO. I agree with ICO from his back to
When the
better
fuck
product.
did he get here?
The way that he listed the products were all Ponzi's. And so I was just like, all of those products that you listed isn't actually giving you validation for the main thing, which I did agree with, which is better products. And so I caveated it a little bit.
Got it.
Sorry, Tad. It is a inception type of way. I'm
I
sorry.
agree with better products. That violent agreement with all the shit that Koji just said and that Peyton was talking about. That's that. I think that is just the. And I feel like I've been saying this for years, but um, one of the first things we do when we start working with people is sit them down and be like, how do you make money? And if like we can't get an answer to that pretty quickly, oftentimes we'll be like, hey, this is probably like not a great relationship for us to be in, because we're like all going to be sad if we have to talk regularly, and you guys don't know how you're going to make money. And so like uh I think that having we just talked about Valhalla being a risk taking endeavor, and it being good to be able to fail. I think that's true, and I think that it's also true that like we need people that have enough vision and enough financial responsibility to be able to have a vision that includes failing a couple of times and iterating. Like and I think as we mature as an industry, we're going to see more and more of those businesses that are able to pivot quickly and be the Discord, the making a video game and failing miserably, and then pivoting into a communication product. I think that as we mature as an industry, more teams that are able to do that will emerge. And so I'm not canceling. I think Peyton for the product take.
I want to hear from Big Jonah Blake. Who you got, ICO, Vo, or Peyton?
Peyton's definitely the closest, but I think they're all right and wrong at the same time, because I just think there's nuance to everything, which is annoying as someone with ADD. But the nuance is pretty simple. Do we need more cool creators? I think yes, but I think before you have cool creators, you have to know what products you want to champion and what they stand for, because creators, there's a difference between a shop NBC seller, someone who's just selling watches on TV all day, or a creator, which is someone you align with parasocially, who represents either someone you want to be or someone that is a part of your imagined friend group, someone that you resonate with in a real way. And like the first comes the product, And then what does the product mean? If the product is about just making money, well, you're not necessarily going to get people that you align with in a really cool way, because people don't actually want money. They want what money can buy. And that's experiences, that's meaningful relationships, that's uh, maybe a cool car, but it's not even the car they want. It's the speed, it's the endorphins,
It's the
right?
attention
It's
at the
the risk.
stoplight from the hot girl in the lane next to you.
Right. Yeah. So like I think there's a lesson you can take from Hollywood, which is like there's what you're making and then what it means. And we don't have what it means yet, which is where I agree with Peyton. And without knowing what it means, you can't have cool creators, because I like look, I don't want to read another thread about 5 ways to make money, because it should be like, here's 5 ways to get your kid into private school or some shit like that, because that's actually like what people are looking for, right? And the money is just a vehicle for that.
Jonah, I agree with you, except I think that there's a lot of people in this space who are just in it. Like the money is the end goal. They forgot that money is an enabler for other things, and they just want to see number go up in all capacities, including their bank account.
I think, well, I think that's, but those are those people we want to keep, and I think a product has a responsibility to decide who they want. And, at the risk of their, like, if you have for example, poly markets, like, they're the perfect example of good marketing and having creators that can exist around it. It is a money making app where you're betting on events, but they don't talk about betting on events. Their message is, we are the greatest truth teller of information in the world because the money speaks for the truth. And so now Poly Markets on CNN or Fox News or any of these other media outlets as a polling service, because they're telling the truth, and money is just a vehicle for that truth. And I think if you think about that as a product, then everything else kind of folds into place.
Great takes, man. Loving this topic so far. I want to hear from Spang, then I want to hear from the tatted lawyer.
This is a tricky one for me because I mean I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that everybody's wrong, even though I loved everybody's takes, and I think it's because of this way that we're like, and obviously I'm not a creator, and I'm talking to a panel of creators telling them how to do their job, but bear with me for a second. I think like one of the things that struck me so deeply when I came into this space was kind of this line of trust that seems to constantly be blurred, expanded, moved around, in the way that people talk about content and partnerships and just general advice. And I think that that's something that is always gonna hold this space back for exactly the reason that we're discussing before, which is money, which is why we're all here. Obviously, yes, we're here for experiences and spiritual enlightenment, but it helps to have money to get those things. And I think that I've always found it so hard to like really come to trust content creators purely from their content and their advice. Like, we work in gaming. I'm sure we all have our comfort gaming content creators. And I think in gaming, traditional gaming content creation, at least, there's this element of trust that you have with these content creators, that you trust them to give you a review of the game that's gonna be their genuine thoughts. And it's so hard to come across that in this space. And maybe that's just because of the nature of being online, and maybe that's a wider problem. But I would say that the core problem is trust, and all of these are a symptom of that. How do you solve that? I'm not too sure, because everybody wants to make a bag along the way. But yeah, exactly. Like products like Polymarket that sell trust, like that, it can be done. People, there's a need for it. There's a want for it. There's a want for the truth. And a lot of stuff gets in the way of that. And I think that people, the pomp and circumstance that I think Bo is calling for is a symptom of that, because if you can't get people to trust.
Great take from Spang. Appreciate you adding a fourth one to the category here. Let's go to Tatted from Andromeda, and then I want to hear from Peyton, who has his hand up to maybe add a little bit more to his take.
Yeah, so I have to firmly go on the side of Peyton. I think there's a lot of truths in all three messages, but I think Peyton really hit the nail on the head with culture. Because when people think about culture, like how is culture created? Oftentimes, culture is created by the thought leaders in the space. Who are the thought leaders in the space? They're the founders. They're the content creators. So to me, content creators actually fall underneath culture. When you think about how NFTs grew in the first place, or NFT culture grew in the first place, everybody was locked in their houses. All these old crypto influencers started talking about NFTs because they're like, oh, sweet, look at this. And these are, I saw some of the old ICO people that I followed back in like 2018 started to talk about this totally new thing called NFTs, and it was God's gift to the world. Da 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 da. So the culture really shifted from the ICO get rich to the NFT get rich, and then we tried to obviously make real products out of this. That's what we all fell in love with. But when we tried to make real products out of this, we never actually changed the culture. The culture is still, how can I spend $5 and make a million? And that in gaming is never a sustainable type of culture unless you're, going into casino gaming, which that's a whole nother story. So to me, it has to be the culture that changes. It has to be this idea, because with culture breeds good products, with good products breeds people, and with people breeds an actual sustainable and long-term industry. So to me right now, the culture of Web3 gaming, open economy gaming, which I actually love that name, Sinjin, or on chain gaming, as you will. I think it's backwards. And the way that you know it's backwards is most of the people don't ever talk about the games. Most of the people are talking about financial charts. They're talking about DeFi. They're talking about tokenomics. The last RPG I played, I didn't then go on my TikTok and be like, hey guys, check out the economy of this game and how it works. Like that was never what I ever said about it. I was like, yo, the battles are sick. The fighting is cool. The combat's amazing. That's what I'm talking about. The story's cool. The economy is an extra. And so that to me is a huge culture thing. It's something that we talk about all the time. And until we start to see this shift in culture, until we start to see the shift in the creator mindset that, hey, it's not really all about getting rich. It's like, hey, we actually like these games. We want to play it. I'm going to use Labubus as an example. Majority of these people buying Labubus aren't buying Labubus to flip them. Like, obviously, there's definitely Labubu flippers. Don't get me wrong. Just like there was Beanie Baby flippers, just like there was Furby flippers, but majority of the people buying them are buying them because they want to just be a part of this Labubu fad. And then once the fad ends, they're probably just going to put it in their closet and never touch it again, like majority of people's Beanie Babies. So the culture is there from just like being a part of something. We've lost that culture in the NFT world, in the Web3 world, in the on-chain world. That's why meme coins started becoming huge, because even though it was this get rich quick, you also felt like you were a part of something. Like Floki Army was a big deal in 2021. Doge Army is still a big deal. Like there's like crazy people that literally like praise Doge as if it's like their religion. So that's culture, and like that's more gambling culture, casino culture. But we really need to change the culture that we're seeing here in the Web3 space, changing the narrative, changing why people should be approaching the space in the first place, from builders to consumers. Because until we do that, it's always going to look like a scam show. It's always going to look like a rug show, and no one's ever going to be able to actually like create a solid foundational footing in this space to create the products that need to grow and to actually become like a legitimate content creator that's moving the culture forward in a sustainable way versus how we're currently doing it right now. So culture absolutely anchors all three of these things, in my opinion.
Couple of great comments I want to get to before I head to Peyton and Sinjin. Sclander says the product need to pick the right creators, not just any creators. People follow a genre and a creator, not the marketing that they show. And then Manic Pixie Trash Panda, which is one of the greatest names I've ever seen, says I was cackling at where the fuck did he come from whenever Peyton came in from the top rope. Peyton, I'm going to you then to Sinjin.
Yeah, thank you, man. And also do like the rebrand as well too, Sinjin. I will say that like when it comes to I actually didn't like really think too much about like my answer as much as like just more disagreement with like ISO or IS. I don't know. I called him ISO for a long time, but I'm guessing that's the wrong specific pronunciation of his name. He just told me. And also Vo, just for the fact that like everything that the products that he was saying is like has like we're now 2 years down the road from all of those, and like none of them are like effective, as well as like retaining. Like everybody's cycling the same type of money, and I just like really just felt that needed to be said. It's just like, hey, everything that you're saying, I actually agree with your product specific take, but I actually don't agree with the products that you mentioned to back up that take. Like Jonah specific Polymarket app and all that stuff is like way more sustainable in my opinion for it. And to Tad and Laura's point, like the culture is like a huge deal. Like we have a huge brand problem when it comes to like Web3 and Web3 gaming, especially. Like Asmongold, like he talked about Power World and how like there was a huge like specific thing with Power World that there was animal cruelty, a whole bunch of like Pokemon ripoffs and all that stuff. And Asmongold said something like obviously very profound. But he was just saying like gamers don't care. Gamers just care about having a very like fun game to be able to play, and it does not matter if Lem's doing the 100 because he pretty much built out the Power World for Wolf server and didn't let anybody catch up. But anyways, that aspect of things was Asmongold just saying like you just need to like have like a really fun game and like take risks and stuff. And I think you also it's kind of a byproduct of also what we built as well because we used the funding vehicle of the token to be able to fund like our specific dreams of like building a game and all that stuff. I joined a lot of these game studios and they just weren't ready for full product release yet too, right? So like a lot of people don't do the Sinjin route, which is Sinjin's like, I'm gonna use my own money and build like my specific dream was like, okay, like I'm gonna build using a token vehicle to be able to do it, set up a foundation, be able to do that, sell over the counter, a whole bunch of other things that we're like kind of doing this huge jujitsu to be able to even get funding to build a game. It made it very difficult, right? To build culture and build like I guess this grittiness that like actually Axie provided at first, which is like building a game that was pretty cutting edge on it. Yeah, did it blow up? Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, it's still like actually alive today and has a core specific following and a reason why a lot of us are here too. And so I don't know. That's kind of like the color that I wanted to do. I just didn't think that. I think I agreed with ISO's point, but didn't agree with the specific examples that he gave as validation because none of those people that signed up for those products are still with us today. They're not in this room, right? So, anyways, that's what I want to put color on.
I'm just still shook that Vo said I wasn't cool enough. I don't know how to cope. We're at the top of the hour. We do have to move on to another topic, but I see four hands. I'm going to ask you guys, give us some original takes here and also shorten your takes if possible. Sinjin, I'm going to you, then to Jerry.
Yeah, actually, I'm down with Vo because are you guys like kind of stupid or something? Because like it isn't about the product. Like everything is ass backwards in this field, right? Like it's completely backwards. Like even the fact that you do an ICO, which is like completely opposite process to doing an IPO, where you actually have the product first and you have revenues for 3 years, and then you get fucking listed, or you have like massive growth and like all this institutional backing, and then you kind of go in. And the thing is, with the creators in our industry, they are the gatekeepers because, like, if we're talking about product, right? In any other industry, the founders are the, real like culture makers, the ones that are kind of leading the narrative. No one gives a fuck what the founders really have to say in Web3 gaming. We have zero clout, right? Because people, they don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. They want to get in their bags. They want, because that's the crypto culture. And this is what everyone signed up for. This is the game. And the fact that this is a really actually really positive because like if there's a maturity in the creators now that they're recognizing that and they want to look for something better, then they can amplify the better voices that when the products do ship, right? Then they get more exposure, and then that's where the culture really changes because there is no products to speak about. And with ICO's like product list, yeah, they're all crap, and Peyton's correct, right? But again, like this industry starts with the creators, and that's just the way it is.
The only thing interjection that I would say with that Sinjin is that the creators churn every cycle for the fact that the game that they're playing is actually crypto Twitter. And so they level up and max level and pretty much just made their bag and now they're out. Right. So in terms of maturity, like they might take some time to mature. Like Zeneca is probably one of the most mature people, but he got his bag back in 2021. Right. So like in terms of that aspect of things, it's like, okay, somebody has to stop the buck, right? Like somebody has to be like, hey, this is what we are. This is the leadership that we're going to be. And yes, we will not dump on the class of 2025. We will be the class of, whatever. But like everybody has dumped on the next class that's coming up. Like I've gotten dumped on. That's how you learn. And that's like kind of a badge of honor for us that call this crypto Twitter or MMORPG that we play.
Let's go to Jerry, then to Dub to wrap this one up.
Yeah, I'm fully in the Peyton camp as well. But I want to say more than I'm fully in the Peyton camp. I couldn't disagree more with Bo. And I think that's what I feel strongly about is that, and I really like Vo, despite the fact that she blocked my friend Jonah.
Happy birthday.
Um, Yeah, I really
She didn't
respect.
like me calling her out. She got upset and offended. It
Yeah,
happens. Happy birthday,
yeah,
Vo, if you're listening to this.
I respect Vo a lot, but I think of like the creators that I follow outside of crypto, and like some of the biggest creators in the world, and none of them are cool, right? None of them are like, and she used the word quote unquote swaggy, right? And how crypto creators have no swag, right?
Did not say that.
And
That's crazy.
yeah, it was. And like you guys know that guy? It's like Outdoor Boys or something. He's like one of the
That
biggest
guy's
like
amazing. He retired
survivalists.
though.
The
Yeah,
goat.
he's the GOAT, right? Fucking huge dork, bro. Huge loser, right? But everybody loves the guy,
Jerry, have you
right? So
watched
I
The
don't.
Plain Bagel?
No,
Okay,
I
he's an
will though.
economist who's like this ginger guy who looks like Ron Weasley but way nerdier. Almost 1 million subs. He's just an accountant from Canada who talks about stocks.
Yeah, exactly, right? Some of these people are not cool whatsoever, right? Like the other like creators that I'm really into are people who do like design and like home renovations and stuff. Not a single one of them are that cool, right? So I don't think there needs to be this aura of like coolness. I would actually argue that we had people who were trying to be cool, and the people who are in crypto and trying to be cool are the worst people in the fucking world, dude. And it's embarrassing. And I think it's one of the reasons why crypto culture has taken such a big hit is because we had people who were trying to do the cool like creator thing, and it was so cringy to the outside world, right? So I think the creators that we have in are probably good enough for the state that we're in right now. But I think getting like quote unquote cooler creators in is actually just going to kind of not solve the problems that we think it will, because these other guys, Outdoor Boys has proven you can be a huge nerd and build a giant channel and be the biggest creator. Asmongold, right? A huge fucking dork, right? Not cool in any way, right? He's kind of gross, and but he's one of the biggest gaming creators,
He's
right?
my
So
Roach King.
yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, literally, look up Asmongold's lair, like the video. It's fucking disgusting. Um, so yeah, I think it's a lot more of a culture thing, and I think ICO and Peyton are both kind of right, but I think Peyton's a little bit more right. I think if we have better products, culture will start to solve itself, and I think we're on our way there. But yeah, I'm Team Peyton on that one, but definitely the opposite of what Vo said.
You guys have changed my mind. I'm canceling my order for Amazon Pit Viper shades. Thank you for talking me off that ledge. I appreciate it. The other hands went down, so we're going to move on. Avalanche isn't just cool, it's cryogenic. As the official game or chain of Gamify, excuse me, it's leading the charge with instant finality, L1 scalability, and a crew colder than an ice mage in arena overtime. If you're looking for a perfect way to dive into the gaming depths it has to offer, there's no better way than to start with AVAX Battle Pass Season 1. Play Gold Fever, Off the Grid, Spellborn, and other great AVAX games in order to earn AVAX tokens and NFTs. Thank you to Avalanche for being an incredible sponsor and an even better gaming chain. And PSA, Farcade is officially retired. Pour one out for the homies. It's now Remix. If you've ever wanted to be a game dev, just open the AI studio, throw in your weirdest prompts, and watch a game materialize faster than your pizza delivery. Then blast it on the social feeds where you can get millions to play without a following. Watch friends and randos obsess over it. Collect your trophies like game-making demigods that you were born to be. With Remix, you don't need to know how to code, design, or even spell JavaScript. You just need an idea and the courage to unleash it into the world. And of course, tired of being a pawn in other people's playtests, Game 7 makes you the main character. Whether you're crafting code, championing communities, or just showing up and staying active, you'll be recognized, rewarded, and remembered with credits and soulbound status. And word is on chain, something big is coming. So power up your plot line with Game 7, the official infra of Gamified. eFrontier has a playtest that's open now. One of the most hyped Web3 projects in a very long time, as an open play test until July 7th. Shout out, actually, the Wolves DAO has an arrangement with them. So Lems is going to pin up a referral link. We would love it if you guys would use that. It would mean a lot to us to make sure that people know how many folks we have at the Wolves DAO that are diehard gamers. Their first alpha test was in December, but it was under NDA. We saw this similarly with MapleStory and Off the Grid, but the NDA is lifted now, and this playtest is open for anyone to play. Ben Sisson, one of the community developers, said Eve Frontier targets a different player type from the diehard Eve Online players. We've seen great interest from Eve Online players who have taken a break for one reason or another. Some love for the new gameplay, some have been genuinely interested in making an economy a bigger part of the game, and some have wanted a chance for a fresh start, unquote. Also, I had a call where I was bringing Hilmar, the founder of the CCP, onto my podcast, and he mentioned a lot of really amazing things, both with the game design being hyper difficult, hardcore survival, as well as some of the awesome ways that they're bringing blockchain in. Highly recommend that you guys listen to that. Just search gamified into Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The CCP raised $40 million to bring this blockchain game based on the Eve universe to market, and now it's available for everyone to try. So, how would you guys define success for this playtest? I'm curious. July 7th comes and goes. What's going to make us feel like, wow, they're really doing it? Or, wow, they really fucked that up royally? And what are the odds that Eve Frontier delivers the goods in the long term? Dub has the hand up first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to get these numbers, but from Hilmar himself, like the real number that matters is their conversion of existing Eve Web 2 users into this. So like all of the players that are playing in this playtest, I would love to see the how many of those are original Eve players, like, and that would give us a pretty interesting read also on like how many people are outside of that. We would assume that that's our small little Web3 gaming community here. So would love to see it, but I don't think we're going to see those numbers. But that's what matters more than anything, because it's not about finding new players into Eve Frontier or at all. It really is about, it's the same thing for Maple Story, right? It's about converting that giant million count player base. Just getting 1% of that is literally enough. So that's what it's all about.
Great take to kick us off. Thanks, Dub. Sinjin, over to you, brother. Sinjin, over to you, brother. Sinjin.
Can I go?
Over to Will
You know,
Spangler.
I just don't hear him cackling.
Over to Will Spangler.
Yeah, I'm gonna double up on Dub's point. But I'm gonna use a different specific metric. I think retention is gonna be the key metric about how long are these players that are converting to this new game, how long are they sticking around? Because I think with big games like this, and I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, like MMOs. These are soul sucking games. These are games that you can play for 72 hours straight. And those kind of games, you put a lot of time into them. So I think the real metric is going to be are we going to see those players who do come and try out Frontiers? Are we going to see those players sticking around? And obviously it's going to be a short play test. So I think maybe I'll concede that conversion is all you can get from a play test like this. But like the real measure is going to be content and retention, and what's going to make those players who enjoyed the original stick around in this new realm when they already have all of this experience and content and history on these old servers. And that's a really interesting problem to figure out. I've spoken with the CCP team. I think that they're approaching it the exact right way. It is a new spin. It is something fresh. But time will tell.
Great takes. Jerry, and then to Jonah. Jerry, what do we need to see from the E Frontier boys to walk away from this being like, holy shit, the Mad Lads did it?
Yeah, I think I disagree a little bit with Dub and Wills. I don't think conversion is the thing to look at, or I mean, I don't think the test is going to run that long, so retention is kind of a difficult thing to look at. Like you would expect there to be good retention in a short test, so I think that can be a little bit of like a flawed metric or a little bit of flawed data that you can get. So, um, I think the thing to look at is like how feature complete or like how complete is the play experience, right? Because I'll tell you guys right now, conversions from Eve to Eve Frontier aren't going to be in this test what we want them to be, because those people that are playing Eve still really like just playing Eve, right? So like they're the version of people that are still playing World of Warcraft Classic, right? And they're still running fucking Naxxramas instead of like moving on to the next expansion or retail or anything like that. So that's a tall ask. I think the thing to look at for this first like public test is how good are the features within the game so that you can actually start to get conversion in like the next test. In a few months' time or whenever the timeline is for that. So that's the thing I'm looking for is like how good is the experience, how good is the onboarding, how good is the economy explanation, and how much trickle down do you get for like the second, third, fourth public test because that's going to be when people are coming. I don't think Eve. This is just a feeling, so I don't have any data to back this up. Eve strikes me as one of those games where like the number of people that play it aren't huge, but the people that play it are absolutely like fanatical about it and spend a ton of money. So I'm not expecting this to have like huge metrics or anything off rip, but I have seen them run ads. Like I've been seeing information like on websites and stuff with like banner ads and everything. So they're putting a little bit behind it. So yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see.
Jonah, what do we need to see from the CCP, brother?
Well, hopefully China doesn't harm us with any more tariffs, but I'm aware of it was a bad joke, dad joke.
It's a CCP joke.
Yeah, yeah.
But
My credit score in China just went down, but so like I'm looking at the gameplay and I'm just like, what do you do? Like what's the goal?
Oh, dude, you mine shit so you can build ships, and then you use those ships to blow up other people's ships, and then those people like grind it for like thousands of hours
Okay,
for
so
their
it's
ships.
PvP. All right. So
Yeah.
like what's the average session time? Like it's MMO, right? So there's no session time. I assume it's just like how long does it take to get to that level? Like I don't understand. I feel like the marketing kind of sucks, and I'm saying this in a nice way. Like, why should I play this over Eve Online? Like, what is natively different? And like, I know this sounds retarded, but there's no waifus. Like one of the things I look for is Rule 34, which is how long does it take for a game to have like a porn community? And I know that sounds creepy, but it actually works because people who spend enough time to make it into some weird ass fucking porn are usually high spenders of the game. The other thing I look for is TTP, which is time to get pissed off, which is like I'm pissed off pretty quickly and I haven't even played the game yet. And usually I need to get pissed off after about 20 minutes into the game for me to try again.
these are great metrics, man. I need a hot list of just Jonah's random acronyms for metrics that he's made up because it's kind of fire. Let's go to Koji and then to the tatted lawyer.
See, I'm a simple man with a small mind, and so the thing I look for the most is just virality, right? Like you look at a game like Dark and Darker, which came out of nowhere, super janky gameplay on purpose, but like people were having fun playing it. You kind of couldn't escape it at a time, and it was just like everywhere you looked, it was people playing a stupid weekend long playtest and then praying for the next weekend to start so they could play again, right? And so I think that what I want to see is sort of like a more sort of social uproar around the game. And uproar is not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. I want to see people uh, all over
Some
Twitch and everywhere
fervor.
else. Fervor, thank you. Yes, I want to see some fervor. I want it to feel sort of new and exciting. I want it to feel like if I didn't get in there, I missed out on something. And if that's the feeling I get, then that's success in my mind, no matter what the numbers are.
Hey, Hilmar is really cool guy. I didn't know you did a podcast with him, Sam. But he was the worst moderator of a panel I've ever seen that Koji was on. I just wanted to share that GDC panel. Koji killed it. Hilmar, terrible moderator.
Who the fuck made him a moderator, dude? Just interview him. Like that's
It's
The
incredible.
graphics look good though. I'm looking at the
I
graphics.
mean,
I mean,
he
like
interviewed
graphics are
himself,
pretty.
which is the best
Yeah,
part about it.
he did. He made it about himself.
dude, that are in production should not be in production. That's whoever's fault, was like, it's a great idea. Let's take the guy that should be asked questions and make him ask the questions. It's fucking terrible.
Can someone give me the Hollywood pitch here? So like whenever I look at a new game,
I got my hand raised for it. Don't worry, it's coming.
okay, thank you. Because I don't even know. Like for example, like it's Grand Theft Auto meets Harry Potter. I'd be like, all right, I'd fucking play that. Can someone do that for me?
It's Tarkov meets No Man's Sky.
Okay, I fuck with that. Literally, lean all of your video marketing into what you just said, and I guarantee new players will pop in because that sounds cool.
Yeah, well, one of my favorite parts of the interview was him saying, I replicated Eve Frontier to be like my homeland of Iceland, where it's just harsh and everything wants to kill you." And I was like, "Damn, bro." Tatted lawyer, over to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the sentiment score. I couldn't remember which one is higher or lower, but I'm kind of right there in the middle. Eve Frontier is a cool game for the people who like to play it. I'm personally not one of those people, but it's definitely a cool game for the people that like to play it. What is a good metric for success for them? I think both a combination of retention and I would actually say on-chain transactions mixed though together because if it's just on-chain transactions that are being done by bots, then that means nothing. But if you can actually match that with real retention numbers and actual potentially even in-game conversions on the fiat side of things, then I think it's a really really good metric to look for. I don't know how the game is currently set up in the sense of like, does it still introduce the Web 2 elements that it's already like known for? Is it only doing Web3 payments, all that good stuff? So I don't know enough about it there. But retention absolutely would be my biggest metric of success is like, oh, people are coming back, people are playing it, and they're playing it for more than I would actually say the D90 retention for a game like this is probably the most important, but at least in the initial, the D7 retention, the D28.
All right, Dub, give us your
Is
version of
this
the
a,
pitch.
Yeah, and it's why like none of that shit matters too, because like Eve Online is gonna figure out the D7 problem and the D like they're doing that. And where Eve Frontier is different and is like the advanced version of Eve Online is their UGC elements that are baked into the entire thing. So like literally there's items or buildables that can be coded by the community and really enabling modders that have been building up in EVE Online since the thing is built out. A very good example of this is there was a man running around killing everyone all the time, top player, top grinder. Someone coded one of the most popular spaceports to require that guy's dead body as a token gate to get through the gateway. So then everyone started killing him, putting bounties on his head, and basically like the community corrected the dude who was like power tripping over everyone. Where transactions and all that on-chain stuff will come in is that all of the guilds that form around different space areas are going to be able to launch their very own cryptocurrency inside of EVE Online and use that as a trading currency as they code and as they design for inside the game. So if you're like back in the backwoods and you're in Dub's bandit country, you're gonna have to use Dub's fucking coins to buy your iron, straight up. And that coin has its own liquidity. It has its own goddamn coin market cap listing. So that's like the grandiose vision of what everything is in the frontier. And that's why what matters most for them is bringing over existing players from EVE Online because these are the players that are gonna know what to do and are looking for like the product's built specifically for that community. It's not about going for new ones or fixing a D7 or anything like that.
Let's go over to Sinjin, Lems, and then back to Jonah.
Okay, I'm going to give an executive hot take here and say it doesn't matter how this playtest pans out. And the reality is like, do these players really even exist that would really be down with like this kind of spreadsheet game that's hardcore? I mean, when it came out, it was, revolutionary. Right now, it's like a pretty steep learning curve. And you look at something like Dota 2. When I meet my kids, high school and middle school friends, and they're like, Dota 2, like, wow, that's like a super hardcore game. Like your dad's super cool. He plays this, right? And it's like it's not appealing to the younger generation. And you see that with the Dota 2 numbers. They're not really growing at all. In their case, like if it's a matter of that like they want to convert these players, what they have to do is actually shut down EVE Online. if this is like kind of the evolved firm, form, and then transfer them over with, whatever resources they have into that game, and then you're going to really see it work. Because if they're going to go incremental and like launch this as just a new game to the market, this is going to be a long slog. And I think for Hilmar and where they're at, like, it doesn't matter like what the numbers are. If they even get a few more players on, they get more traction, they still probably have another year to build out. But the way that the game is, and where it's been positioned for it being around like 22 years and stuff like that, I think if they don't take a really like drastic move here, because like, like the entire thing on Twitter has always been like, well, Fortnite should just do like NFTs. Well, they're never gonna do that unless like there was no other Fortnite and you had to get into this one that had NFTs. So, I think it's really gonna be a slow grind for them. It doesn't really matter what this ends up being, because the guy's still gonna build out the vision, still gonna go out. But if they're looking for real success, they're gonna have to do something really drastic.
Great takes from Sinjin. A couple of awesome comments as well. Icy says, feels like the panel hasn't been watching the eFrontier trailers or press releases. He thinks that the marketing has been on point, and then shows me a little trailer. Yeah, the trailer I thought was really sick. There is also like an hour long playtest that takes you through the tutorial. It is very hardcore, for sure, and it takes quite a long time to get your feet wet. Van Ho says, today I found out Jonah has an ultimate business troll mode, and I love it so much. Shout out to Jonah. Lems, and then to Jonah.
Yeah, my take's pretty aligned with Sinjin's there. Like, I think a lot of it depends on what they bring in from the current Eve Online, because like Eve is a sort of big enough, well-known name, but it's always been sort of niche as well, right? If you look at something like, Maple Story was the other big name that we had recently. I felt like that had more kind of widespread appeal. But then on the other hand, this game is more like the economy side just feels like it's perfect for blockchain. But then we know they had some kind of pushback and hate from their community of like diehards there who are like, wow, wow, blockchain or whatever. Even though this game actually feels like it makes perfect sense to go on chain. So if they can manage to get over that hurdle and bring some of those players, and then obviously get some new players in, but like the game's been around, like EVE Online's been around for so long, and it's pretty like small player base at this point, and it's still pretty niche. So I think I don't know if we're going to be able to like know those metrics though, of like how many of them they're actually managing to convert to come on chain. But it feels like that's going to be the big thing to really make it a longer term success, and then hopefully they can manage to get more attention for Eve again and grow it out.
Yeah, speaking to Sinjin's point as well of feeling like it needs to be the predecessor, or the successor, I should say, to EVE Online. Hilmar was very clear in my interview with him that this is not a sequel. This is a completely standalone game, and it might not even appeal to a lot of the EVE Online target demographic. It's actually supposed to be a divergence from it because of how hardcore it is, and some of the new features that they've added. Jonah, over to you. Then Peyton has the hand up, and then we're going to move on.
So wait, Eve Frontier is supposed to be even harder than Eve Online?
Yeah, like significantly. It's hard for.
So are they making this for like 30-year-olds?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like, never mind. I was gonna ask a question. Like, for games to grow right now, especially with the audience that exists today, like, and I'm not talking Web 3, I'm talking Web 2. It has to be like multiplayer content where the two biggest factors for a game to grow are their physics, their in-game physics, and like the in-game comms. And you've seen this with multiple games, like even Peak in the last few weeks, Repo. I would say Schedule One has a physics-based marketing. It's pretty funny with the skateboard. There's a lot of mimetic value to that. Um, I mean, I don't know. It sounds fun, but I get scared. You guys are like, this is the hardest game that's ever existed. I'm just like, my life is already hard. I don't need another fucking hard thing in my life. I don't know if I want to do
Yeah, but
that.
think about, Jonah, how many people just work boring ass jobs and then they come back and they're like, don't challenge themselves at all. I mean, this was me literally my entire high school because I was homeschooled. I had nothing to do. And so I was like, well, I might as well get the shit kicked out of me in World of Warcraft all the time.
I mean, that may be true. But like when people say this game is like, if you like, Escape from Tarkov is really hard, but the marketing isn't like this game's really hard. It's like, it's a really cool shooter game with high stakes. But then everyone here is like, this game's really hard, and I'm like, fuck, like I got bills to pay. Like, do I have to pay like virtual bills too? I don't really want to do that.
All right, Peyton, and then two more hands popped up. Peyton, then Jerry, and Tatted real quick.
Yeah, the Eve Frontier actually I find it was actually pretty fun. I didn't find it too hard when it comes to the tutorial and any of that stuff, but I was getting walked through by Terrace, so shout out Terrace. On that side of things, I found it like pretty therapeutic. It's like kind of like a I guess a third monitor type of game that you can just kind of do. I think like Knock is a target demographic of it, just like obviously mining coal and doing a whole bunch of things and just kind of doing that. I actually have like considered it. I'm not committed yet. I'm actually just waiting for Parallel Colony to really just figure out where I want to kind of like put my third monitor specific game on, because I really like the Parallel Colony specific allure of it. And so on that aspect of things, like eFrontier kind of hits that specific niche of like, hey, I'll do it like while I'm on a meeting, just like mine coal, put into storage and all that kind of stuff, and just I don't know, it's just kind of therapeutic more than anything. I think the world is kind of beautiful. Warp is freaking very sick. And also another specific thing, I'm uploading. I completely forgot to upload yours, Sam. Apologies. I am uploading Sam's and Hilmar's video as we speak right now to my YouTube channel. But one of the things that I also listened to was "Death is a Serious Matter" from Hilmar's, which is on like FanFest for on Twitch, and he was talking more about like that specific moment where the first time you fail in eFrontier, it's either you retain and you retain for a very long tail, or you pretty much bitch out and just say like, "Hey, this game's not for me." Which kind of goes to like Sinjin's specific point of like, is Dota 2 and all that stuff going to be like a very like hard overlap? I don't know. I'm kind of in this specific situation in my life now where like my specific Twitch reflexes have gone completely downhill, right? And there are times in which that I'm wanting to play a game that's just like, man, I really don't want to play COD anymore. And that's like this kind of a new specific feeling that I'm having as a gamer that really cares about playing games. Where am I going to put that specific fun edge? Like, am I going to play a very short term game like Jonas? Like, most likely. Am I going to play like Remix? Most likely. I'll probably be that specific, Facebook mom that plays these type of games. But like, I would also say that like I would want a game that's a little bit more slower paced that I don't feel so rushed that I need to like get in. Like a Marvel, freaking Marvel Rivals makes me pissed like every single second. So I think as like gamers grow up, I think they do mature in life. Very similar to like Jonah, like paying bills and all that stuff. Like I don't want to be rushed anymore. So I think playing games like that, and we have yet to see how Gen Z and some of the people that come into the world like playing games like where everything was console, everything was Fortnite and Roblox. I'm very curious to see whenever they come to the point in my life where they have kids and all that stuff, and life is busy and they want to be successful in life, what kind of games they play. I think there is something there. I just haven't seen it yet because the data's not out there yet.
Yeah, dude, I genuinely don't know how people over the age of like 35 have fun playing any shooter. It's like it's such a miserable experience to just lose because you're slow and old. I just don't get it. So I'll be a Facebook mom right alongside you, Jerry, and then to Tatted real quick, guys. I want to squeeze in one more topic.
Yeah, I would say, look at like the. You remember the stuff that Soda Poppin did? It was like OnlyFangs or something on WoW
Yeah,
Hardcore.
that's right.
Yeah, it was some of the coolest content
Yeah,
in games I've seen
watch
in a
everything.
while. Who just talked over me?
Sorry, it was me, Jerry. I was just saying like
Oh.
second saying like, oh yeah, I've watched every single episode.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, wait your turn next time though. But I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think with how well that stuff did and like the content that came from it was like really cool and like super funny. And, I think if Eve can kind of tap into a level of that, I think you'll see people really kind of flock to this game and be interested in it. There are people who like whose introductions to WoW came through OnlyFangs and like WoW Hardcore, which is like the hardest version of it's a fucking miserable game to play, when it's hardcore like that. And I think that proved that there is a little bit of an audience for this, and there is a segment of people who want to play this. It's just a matter of can they find that hyper specific group of people? I don't know, but I think that showed it can be done.
Tatted, and then Jonah has the hand up real quick.
Yeah, really, really fast. I just want to say, completely agree with Jonah in the sense of a lot of people who are over the age of 30 who have real responsibilities in their lives. They don't want to just be beat down over and over and over again by a game that's way too hard to get into. And that's obviously a huge barrier to entry. Of course, there's cult followings for games like these, but a lot of the cult followings for games like these were started maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when there was way less content for you to also distract yourself with. And it's just what they fell in love with, what became their comfort game, and why they do it now. So I agree. If the game is too hard, you might create like a cult following for the game, but a cult following doesn't really mean mainstream, doesn't mean success, and doesn't mean that it actually works. So definitely agree with the if it's too hard, they're just going to go to other content because there's so much out there to distract yourself with now.
Dude, I've been feeling this way about Tarkov since the first time I played Tarkov, though. I was like, this is dog shit. Like, who wants to just be treated this way?
Yeah,
Like,
I hated
what
it.
kind of hostage situation are
Later,
you willing to
Jerry.
put yourself in? You masochistic fuck. And it's still like 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is later. It's fucking so popular. Jonah, over to you.
So yeah, I'll make two curveballs. So it's not that the game that is hard that's the problem. It's the time that you need me to invest in a game for it to become fun and hard. So like I'll give you an example. Plenty of 30-year-olds are still playing Elden Ring. We can argue that's a very hard game, even the Dark Souls series. And so that is a hard game, but it's fast to pick up. Like you know how to parry, you know how to dodge, you know your initial weapons, and it's easy enough to pick up. And if you really like the game, then you invest the time, even though it's a hard game, and then you learn the meta of like, picking your armor sets, the different weapons, like how you pick up spells, maybe some like secret boss, all these other stuff. And I think it's like how you I mean, it's all about that first time user experience. The first thing you told me about Eve Frontier is that it would take me an hour to go through the tutorial. If I remember Elden Ring, when I played it, it took me about 10 minutes to go through the tutorial. And and it's kind of funny. The tutorial's like, hey, here's a boss, try and beat it. Everyone knows that you can't beat it, but you don't know that the first time you play that. And it lets you know it's going to be hard, but it's going to be really fun. Now, the other curveball I'm gonna throw is this is like what do you call it? Like hot take? I don't know if you have a segment name for this, but here's my hot take. If Eve Frontier survives 5 years, I guarantee that they will win in the world of UBI. Because if AI takes all of our fucking jobs, I mean, I'm 29 now, so I'll be what, 34, 35 then? So by the time I'm 34 or 35 and like AI has taken my job and I have nothing better to do, then there will actually be, I think there'll be like a World of Warcraft style renaissance where MMOs will come back because MMOs don't exist today because everyone needs to work to try and earn a living. But in a world where AI has those jobs and we're in a UBI economy, I think there then you'd get this whole I hate the fucking term now, but then you get the metaverse where everyone's trying to play Eve Frontier and be the best at it. And you can see that in one of those Black Mirror episodes where it's basically making fun of Star Trek. I mean, you could argue that that probably is like Eve Frontier.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great call. It's a little bit of a tangent, but I agree completely that if UBI comes around and I'm not able to do anything meaningfully productive with my time that gives me satisfaction in order to make a living, I would absolutely just get addicted to MMOs again. It doesn't matter what it is. So you could put Guild Wars 1 in front of me and I'd be like, yeah, sure, okay, this is worth 12 hours a day. All right, last topic of the day. Our final boss is going to be put up or shut up. Which investment would you rather make? Hightail for $25 million dollars versus Spectre for $5 million dollars. Hightail shut down last week after being in development for 6 years with Hypixel Studio and Riot Games. A Hightail Studio founder said he would spend $25 million dollars of his own money to buy it back from Riot and finish it. And then Telegram Game Spectre Agency raised $5 million for a high production roguelite vampire survival style game, which has a lot more depth than the previous clicker games we've seen. Launch on the Messenger application. I will add to this too, because I don't know if you guys will believe it or not. I have played Spectre Agency actually at Consensus in Toronto, and I was pretty impressed with how clean it was. Like it's very pleasant to look at, and for a survivors, like it was deeper than basically anyone I'd ever played. So, with that context, put up or shut up, where would you rather place your money? On the Riot funded Minecraft esque game or the high budget Telegram roguelite? Sinjin, over to you.
Hands down the Telegram game, just because, like, it already has its line of distribution. It's top of mind, vampire survival. It's a really good game loop. Anything you do to make it a little bit deeper is a pretty, I wouldn't say easy lift, but a pretty straightforward relative to other games. The problem with the other one, the Minecraft one, whatever, high tail or whatever like that, is like you finish the game and now you're face to face with Minecraft, right? So how much marketing and promotion and additional like depth do you need to do to actually compete? And I think this is the reason why like it got out of control, because the scope got out of control, because as they're developing it, they're realizing, okay, we're like this level of Minecraft, but what can we do to make it even more so than Minecraft, to make it a product that is really going to convert, that is going to be significantly better. And you can't do that without like this scope, this creep. And he writes in the interview that he'd reduce it and he'd ship it, whatever like that. Okay, fine, but then your marketing is even that much more harder. So like, how much marketing would they need? Like, I don't know, 50 million at a minimum. So yeah, fuck that, man. I'd never see my money ever again. So I'd go with the Telegram game. At least it'd be like less painful if it crashed and burned.
Great take, Sinjin. But one of the problems I see with these survivors likes games is, the amount of money that you can charge for it is like $3, $5, whatever. You need at least like a million paying customers, and it would probably be free to play, and then you have to figure out a way to monetize them in the app. And survivors likes, I don't know. Is there a lot of microtransactions you could do there? Maybe I'm wrong. Dub, you had the hand up.
Damn right, you slap him, even though like that was uncalled for. Yeah, you're wrong, Sijin. And yeah, I would for sure pick this fucking Minecraft wannabe from Riot, because first of all, it's shipped. Second of all, or maybe it's not. Whatever, it's fucking polished and ready. And then you're worried about $50 million in marketing. I'm just going to take Tony over here, make him look like Jack Black, and play the Hypetopia chain metaverse fucking play, and hit this when Minecraft 2 is coming around, the movie. And we're just going to go fucking viral with that. And that's going to cost, not $50 million, and we'll have the same amount of impressions. So, and like, I think there is a lot more fun to be had with this level of quality and type of game. And yeah, going against a giant like Minecraft is stupid, but like, we're in fucking crypto, and let's slap some NFTs and tokens in there and fuck around and find out.
So let me manage your money, man. It's not
And
safe
that's
with you, bro.
how and that's
It's not
how we
safe
get
with
no
you.
players. You mentioned blockchain, it's over.
Oh man, you guys are great. Let's go to Tony V and then to Koji. Tony, where are you spending your money? The Minecraft-esque game from Riot that was shut down after 6 years of development, or the hyper-polished Telegram Vampire Survivors like?
No doubt the Minecraft clone that has 6 years of development. Like, absolutely. I think that there's probably so much product work there that that you could probably, for not a lot of money, get something super compelling, and uh, and go drive enough interest to like build a business that you could go either run a live service business around, or make your next game. But if I was like, if I had to like bet the health of a company on one of those two decisions, it would definitely be the product that is like been built by professional people for years and years and years.
For what it's worth, as well, our very own Paul Bettner, friend of the show, raised $25 million to make Creativerse back in 2017. Ended up going live with that game and having it be a success. I think they had over 5 million players, and it's still in live ops today, still available on Steam if anybody wants to check it out. So some a couple of drops in the bucket for that being a smart financial decision, at least back then. Let's go to Koji, then to Jerry.
Yeah, I'm going for the Vampire Survivors here. I think that like the well on Minecraft like games isn't as deep as it once was. There's already a million different iterations of it. And I know that there's a lot of survivor like games, but the genre itself is like, I don't know, pretty young, and there's still a lot of iteration to be made. The final form isn't here yet. I think there's still some addicting loops to be had. Now, uh, will do I think that that game will be around in like 10 years time? No, but can it make a bunch of money and be really successful in a short period of time? I absolutely think so. And I've never been a fan of the I need to craft a bunch of shit stuff anyway. So I'm going survivors for
Oh,
sure.
my spirit animal, dude. Crafting systems have ruined more games for me than just about anything. Fucking the Zelda cooking, crafting bullshit. Fuck that shit.
Dude, as soon as I see crafting in a game, I just turn it off. I'm just like, I would rather not do this. Like the game itself should be fun. Playing it should be fun. I don't need to make the things to play the game, and that's what's the fun. No, no.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna call you in a couple of hours, and I'm just gonna talk your ear off for 3 hours about how much I fucking hate crafting systems. Jerry, and then to the tatted lawyer.
Yeah, I would go with the Telegram game also. I think it's crazy that people are picking the other one because if 25 million and 6 years goes into it and then it gets shelved, it's telling you that something fundamentally about the game wasn't working, right? You don't just walk away from something like that and leave it if there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, right? So I think that just tells me that whatever they were working on just didn't they didn't find it. And on the flip side of that, I think the Spectre Games guys are actually pretty talented. They're some of them came from like Enway, which did what was the fighting game they
Rec
had,
League.
Sam? Rec League, there we go, which was kind of fun. I think it made for some cool moments. Obviously, it wasn't like the hit they were expecting it to be, but I mean, like that still produced the coolest moment probably ever from Wolves Den, right? So those guys have talent. They're pretty good at what they do. And TK, who's the head guy over there, is really cool dude, super smart guy. And I think they're in a yeah. I don't think like Telegram games are like a totally blue ocean, but I think they're on a kind of little bit of an unexplored frontier over there. So, it could be something, it might not be, but we don't really know yet. So, yeah, I think for my money, I would take a bet there.
I want the Little Lizard Legends take on this one. Lems, who you got here? And then we'll go to Tatted and Jonah.
Yeah, I'm pretty aligned with Jerry here. Like, I think Telegram is an opportunity because it became the whole, clickers, tap to earn bullshit thing that we sort of like faded away, and then everyone kind of dismissed it. But I think it's still an opportunity for things that have a bit more depth to it, and this feels like it could be really good to like hit the mobile audience. And you're looking at your capital risk too. Like Jerry took the words out of my mouth in regards to Hightail of like, hey, there's a reason they killed this thing, and it's like, so you're going to talk about putting 5 times as much money in as you would into the Telegram game for a thing that was killed for not being good enough versus a game that is in this like space where we've seen a lot of Vampire Survivors clones, but like a lot of them have still actually been quite successful. And then in this semi new kind of area, and then if they can monetize well through crypto, it's like you can get your money back on your investment probably a lot more readily than you would on gambling on something like Hightail. And then, yeah, Hightail has to deal with fighting against the behemoth that is Minecraft. That it's almost like trying to take on something like Fortnite. Like it's that established and that big of an IP, and that just seems like such a daunting task.
Yeah, I think another element here is people willingly and readily kind of move on from games that are in the roguelike genre. But Minecraft, bro, those people, it's been a decade, and those fuckers are still just playing the same game with a little twist, because they downloaded a new map. Let's go over to Tatted, then to Jonah.
Yeah, dude,
Sorry.
building is my crafting. Can I join you guys on that? Building shit is my crafting.
That's right, dude.
Yeah, so I have to definitely take the Telegram game. I think the opportunity here is just so massive because I think Lem's just hit on it pretty well, and Jerry as well, in the sense of everybody thinks of Telegram games as these clicker games, these tapper games. If you now introduce a real game into this environment where all I expected was these very basic games to now I'm playing a real game, that to me is a potential blue ocean opportunity where you're the first real game in this space of clickers. And if you're able to accomplish that, then absolutely going to take that chance over a game that's been in development for 6 years, that has an overly complicated goal, that's trying to take on one of the biggest IPs ever. Which, if you really think about it, it's not just taking on Minecraft. It is taking on games like Fortnite. It is taking on games like Roblox because you still have to try to get the mind share of these other people playing these games to come play your game. So I'm gonna definitely take the Telegram game. I think the opportunity's there. I think it's such an interesting perspective of kind of bringing your games into this new environment. And I personally think as AI companions get a lot more better as the technology gets a little better, I can see AI companions being able to play these Telegram games with consumers. And if that's the case, then I think games like this are going to win in a pretty big way versus what looks like a terrible sinking ship over at Riot Games. And what do we just see? We just saw a game that was in development for 8 years launch, and it was one of the worst games ever. The pirate game that looked terrible. I just can't think of the name right now. If it's been underwater for 6 years and they're just killing it because there's no way to save it, then it probably has way more problems. And I do respect the founder saying, I put 25 million of my own money in, but that's what a founder's supposed to say. He's the one who started it in the first place. Of course, he's going to be like the guy from the guy trying to go to the Titanic with the Titan. Like, he also ignored all the warning signs. He also ignored everything, and then he ended up dead along with other people. Same thing here. To me, it just looks like it's blinders from the person that started it, whereas really the opportunity is absolutely with the Telegram game.
Tatted, great take. Give me your MVP real quick as well.
Well, it's not Barry, that's for sure. I think my MVP for today, I'm gonna go with Jonah. I think Jonah, you had some really good takes today. Gonna say Jonah. Runner up, definitely Sinjin though.
Love it. Jerry's sitting at -1, Jonah sitting at +1. Jonah, over to you. Give us your take on this one and your MVP.
I'll take the Telegram game for a few reasons. One, Minecraft YouTubers are fucking weirdos, like all the way down. Some of them are pedos, some of them are fucking psychopaths, others are just cringe lords. I hate the Minecraft community. They're worse than the My Little Pony brony community. I'd rather hang out with furries than the Minecraft YouTubers. So that's my first point. The second is you put all that money in and you're backed by Riot Games and they shut it down. Riot Games knows when to shut games down. They did it with the MMO for a reason. That's why they're rebuilding it from scratch. They're not stupid people. They're some of the best game devs in the world. The other is just that if it's the same problem that what they're called NFT worlds, now they're called
Hytopia.
something else. Hytopia. The minute that Hytopia looked like it would be a success, Minecraft said, "Nah, no thanks." Like no, like Microsoft isn't going to let you be bigger than them because it just makes them look bad, and their shareholders are going to see it negatively. So you're automatically capped at the kind of revenue you can make immediately. So those are the reasons I'm not doing Minecraft. Now the reason for the Telegram game is if you can make it for Telegram, it means you can make it for a bunch of other mobile apps, right? Like WeChat. I don't know. There's a bunch of others. I'm forgetting Line. The
Account
other
Talk,
you're
Zalo.
right. So distribution is more than just Telegram because there's no exclusivity on that most likely unless Telegram's paying a lot. You also get access to emerging markets. I mean, again, that kind of goes with like all these different apps, whether it's Asia, Russia, CES region or CIS region, whatever it is. And I think the last part to that is just the speed to iteration, right? You get feedback really fast. It's directly to someone's phone. You can ping them directly. It's not as cumbersome. It's not the most in-depth 3D environment. And you could probably play it on Remix. Yeah, you like that last one? By the way, I get MVP because I called Floki Down syndrome RuneScape, and I stand by that.
Oh, the old dub strategy, voting for
Yeah,
yourself.
new rule. Voting for yourself counts as -1 vote. So Jonah's back at 0. Koji, who's your MVP of the day?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jonah too. Actually, um, I think that he was pretty insightful this episode without being overly inflammatory. Although, I mean, he did call a game Down syndrome, but
Down
he gets a
syndrome RuneScape. There's a
yes,
difference.
yes, yes. He gets a pass on that one though. So yeah, I get Jonah MVP.
All right, let's go to
The yes was amazing.
Dub. Who's your MVP, bud?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Jonah for voting for himself, bro. It's easy call.
God damn it, Peyton. Who you got? Who's your MVP of the day?
You for telling everybody prior to the show to make sure that they agree with my take. So I really appreciate it. So you get that MVP for me.
Thanks, bud. Lems, who you got? I think you double tapped. Maybe. All right, Jerry, who you got?
Is it working?
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Yeah.
goddamn thing is bugging out where it said it was speaking. Yeah, I'm voting for Jonah because he actually had really good takes, but the cherry on top was the Down syndrome RuneScape joke, which you shouldn't have like self-clapped yourself there and given yourself a pat in the back because you were going to get that compliment anyway.
I'm kind of autistic. Sorry about that.
Oh man! All right, Jerry and Tony.
Tatted.
Easy peasy. Tony, who you got?
Yeah, Jonah for all the reasons mentioned, and Jonah, I think it's better and more on brand that you patted yourself on the back. That's actually part of the charm of what just happened in my mind.
Spang and then Desingen. Spang, you unmuted then remuted.
Oh, there we go. Got it. Yeah, I'm giving it to Jerry.
The Jer Bear, and last but not least, Sinjin, who you got?
Yeah, I'm giving it to Jonah, and close second was Tad the lawyer. Solid takes from solid. Yeah, both of them, absolutely.
Jonah with a land. What do we call it? A land sweep? What the fuck is the term I'm looking for?
Woo!
Landslide.
Landslide.
Yeah, good old land
The
sweep.
old land sweep.
Land
Champagne
sweep.
Superdome.
Jonah, you got 60 seconds of FaceTime. Plug whatever you want, brother. Great episode today.
All right, I went to the Hard Rock last weekend, and I was at a VIP table for UFC fighters, and half the guys had like Skrillex style haircuts and were punching the air whenever they were watching the TV, and it just made me think that we were in one giant Mario Kart lobby. That's what I got.
Shout out to Frankie Go. I'll plug it for you. You guys want to
And Sploot.
earn some abstract XP? You want to get some Twitch streams clipped? Check out Sploot AI too. Good work today, Jonah. Way to reel it in. Shout out to Down Syndrome RuneScape. And look, guys, leaving us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts is like doing a side quest. Doesn't take long, but you can unlock some better gear, get some XP, help us beat the boss. Thanks so much. And welcome to the chain where the frost fuels fire and gameplay meets glacier grade tech. Avalanche is the official chain of Gamified and your gateway to frostbitten frontier of fun. With a $100 million AI fund melting minds and alliances with legends like Gunzilla Games, T1 Esports, and solo leveling, this is a snowball effect of next-gen gaming. Most chains promise potential. Avalanche delivers payloads with a battle pass that rewards skill, time, and sweat. Climb, earn, unlock NFTs, and AVAX tokens. Then meet me at the next summit for the after party because you know it's always a good time. And gather around builders and believers. It's time to grant yourselves a future worth playing. You've heard of skill trees, but Game 7 is growing contribution forest. Summon isn't just a protocol, it's a passport to performance. Your actions get anchored by your influence, and your influence gets immortalized thanks to the official infrastructure of Gamified. And no existential meltdown whenever you're building with Remix. Just a shiny AI-powered studio that lets you build and launch a game faster than you can say, I swear, this is the last coffee I'm having today. Or, babe, I don't know how that hentai got on my laptop. Open an AI studio, dream up something unhinged, and launch it straight into social feeds. Go to remix.gg to learn more about the official game of Gamified.
I'm gonna make something so stupid. You're gonna regret this.
Please and thank you.
I'm gonna make something that borderlines on not
All
allowed.
right, as long as we got mods checking out the games, making sure we don't get too crazy. But you know, you could toe the line as you always do, Jonah. That's when you're at your
I'm making Frogger, but they're all ice agents.
best. Oh Jesus, we'll see. We'll see if it gets past the mods. It's been an amazing episode. Love all you guys. Thanks so much. See us back here, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Eastern every single Wednesday, and check out Simplified on Mondays. Big smooches.